Well, hello Track Gang, and welcome to episode 3 for 2026. What have we got going on this week? Well, we're going to talk about model railroading and YouTube, so let's get down the track. Alright, howdy Track Gang. It happens to be January the 7th of 2026. This is episode 3 for 2026, and this may or may not be multiple parts, because I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to do what I want to do with this. So, model railroading and YouTube. What are we talking about? Well, it's come to my attention, at least, over the past 6 months, actually even longer than that, because of the fact that I've been on YouTube now for 11 years. As of December of last year, of course, I'm still sitting at like 720 some odd subscribers. I realize that my brand of nuttiness may not be for everybody. I get it. However, I decided that, I've seen videos from these so-called YouTube gurus. Some of it's great information. Others of it, probably not so much. And one of the things that really got me with everything that they were saying, it was geared to a very general niche. In other words, it was just, it's out there. Here it is, boom. They're not talking about how to set your YouTube channel up when you do uploads for your particular niche, especially model railroading. We are a fairly small community, fairly small. I've said that before. Obviously, there are a bunch of channels out there for model railroading, and everything from Z-scale up to probably half inch or foot, 1 foot scale, or even more, even bigger, I should say. And then you've also got the on the same token, you've got the folks that go out and chase trains. And there's some that do both. And that's great. That helps expand this very small community that we have. Being on YouTube over the last, like I said, 11 years has enlightened me to the fact that it goes back to something that was brought up years ago, and I don't even remember where now. And that is the fact that most model railroads are built in a basement, and the only people that see it are the people that built it. And it wasn't until, the 80s, when model railroaders started doing their model railroad tours, their video tours. So you weren't just looking at a picture in a magazine anymore. You could actually see trains running down the track and talk and actually listen to the people that built the railroads, which was awesome. And of course, that's when the bug hit me, and I'm like, you know what? One of these days, I am going to build one of those railroads. Well, it's in progress. So, one of the things, though, that I did want to mention here, and we'll start off with the basics. The basics. You can start off with your phone. You can start off with a webcam. You can start off with a handy cam like I'm using. The only reason why I use the handy cam is because I used to use an iPad, and then I went over to an iPhone. And at one point in time, the computers that I was using didn't link up real well with the phone. So then I figured out that this here had USB on it, and I was like, all right, perfect. So I've been using this now for a while. I did switch to another USB camera, or a USB capable camera at one point. Unfortunately, that was a cheap knockoff, and it lasted me 2 years, and it basically died on me. So I'm back to using the Handycam. To which I've killed the batteries in this thing, so I went ahead and just bought new batteries for it. But at any rate, so you don't need expensive equipment is what I'm getting at. You don't need to go out and buy a couple $1,000 camera and, you know, boom lights and boom mics and everything else. Yes, a lapel mic would probably be helpful for me, even though I've got a fairly booming voice, especially when I'm looking at the camera. That's all well and good. You do what you want, you do with what's within your budget. Again, we're not doing this, at least I'm not, trying to make money. I would like to be able to support the things that I do because, let's be perfectly honest, when you start getting into doing the video editing, the recording, and then the editing, and then the uploading, and then watching it, by the time you're done, you've probably put a couple of hours in to doing the videos. And it would be nice to get a little something back out of that. That's one of the reasons why I've been trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and it's been an uphill battle, which is one of the reasons why I was going to get on to the next point, and that's what you do when you upload one of these things. So, I've actually got this current week's video, which would be the one that's going to come out on the 9th, is sitting over there on the computer, ready to be processed. I've already edited it up. So the only thing I've got to do is upload it, and then I'm going to show you the settings that I use when I do upload. Now, while we're on the subject of cameras and ring lights and microphones and things of that nature, if you're going to do live streaming, here's another good one for you. If you're going to do live streaming, it would be helpful to have decent lighting. I've got a ring light on this rig. I'll take a picture of it and put it somewhere, probably as I get ready to go over and do the edit. But I've got a tripod on a set of wheels that I built. It's basically a piece of particle board with 3 wheels on it, so that I can maneuver it around the room. It's a very old tripod. It's an old metal tripod. The thing is heavy, but it works. Like I said, I didn't need anything real expensive. This happened to be something that my stepfather-in-law had and was given to me at some point, and I've been using it ever since for different things. I can tell you that, you know, for my live streaming, I do have a decent mic. I've got a HyperX with a set of headphones, so that way if I happen to have a guest on, I can hear them and not have it echo across YouTube. That's going to probably... We're going to talk about that just a little bit here, but we're going to touch on that maybe in a future video if you all are liking this one so far. But, you know, I've got the a C922 Logitech camera that's on the over at the desk for when I'm doing my live streams. Live streams are a little bit different. There's a lot of other programs and things that you need to be able to do that. But what I was getting at is, if you are going to live stream, it's helpful if you are under 1,000 subscribers to have some way for the community to support you. And that is through, for me, it's through Patreon. It's also through Amazon and PayPal. And those links are always in my description. So, but we're not here to talk about that stuff. That's going to be on another video. So let's get over and take a look. Well, first off, I'll show you what the rig looks like, and then we'll take you over to the computer and show you what it takes to upload one of these dudes. So stand by. We'll be right back. Okay, so what we have here is pictures of the rig that I do all my recordings around the layout on for my episodes and for the vlogs or what have you. So this is it. Okay, so I do notice that there's a little bit of a glare on the screen. I apologize. So first things first here, because this we just got finished editing the video. The first thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in here, and as you can see, that was the last screenshot that I took. So I'm going to move that off to the other screen because I kind of need I need to be able to see this one, because shoot, I forgot. I'm not quite ready to take a screenshot yet. First thing I've got to do is Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me get back over here to what that picture that I wanted, which was around in here somewhere. Oh, I think that's a decent picture of it. Okay, good. Alright, so in my images file, I actually have a thing called thumbnails. And what that is this is just a image file that's in, this happens to be a program called VideoPad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on there, and then I'm going to drop it down so that it's not covering the subject here. There we go. And then I'm going to go down here, I'm going to hit edit. And this is going to be episode 2, 2026. And we're going to be talking about a mail call. And then, yeah, I'm just going to do this way. DNN tracking system. And of course, I need to make sure that I have this all on the same screen. There we go. And of course, I know that there's been a couple of folks that have mentioned that you can't go too far down on the screen because it cuts it off and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm going to snapshot. So I'm going to go back over to my snapshot or snipping tool, and I am going to grab this, and it saves it off automatically because I'm on Windows 11. Alright, so now we can minimize that. I do not want this to be a part of the main program, so we delete it. We resave the project, and then we're going to go up to export. We're going to click on YouTube, and then I'm going to get rid of that because it's now episode 2. And I'm just going to put in here mail call because I really don't need the rest of that stuff. So I'm going to grab that, and then I'm going to put that down here, and we are going to put this under, because I talked to a couple of folks within the community and they actually said that they upload the how-to and style, which kind of had me scratching my head, but I'm like, well, if it's working for them, why not? Alright, so we're going to upload the how-to and style, and then we're going to put in here the privacy mode is unlisted. That's going to be important in a little bit. So just remember that from here, or any program that you're using for uploading, whether it's Movie Maker or Windows Movie Maker, Apple's iMovies, whatever program you're using, you want this to go to YouTube as an unlisted video. So we're going to go ahead and hit create, and now it's going to do its thing. So we'll wait. We're not going to wait here for this thing to do its thing. We'll come back once it's done. Okay, so as we can see, this thing has actually completed, which that was pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to close this. I am going to shut this down. We can hit save, that's fine. Now, I'm going to go over here to content, and I'm going to open a link in a new tab, because what I want to do is I want to do an edit on this. Now, one of the things that I've been doing, and probably for better or worse, I have been pulling in some things to make it a little bit easier on myself. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to copy what was pulled the other day. And there we go. Now, the thing is I forgot that I really want to pull the last episode. Alright, so that's what we're going to do there. And we're going to change this. And we're going to make this episode 2. And then we're going to get rid of that portion of it, because we want this to obviously be for this particular one. So we're going to put in here mail call. Always fascinates me how it doesn't like that, but mail call and rolling stock tracking system. Even though it's not really a system, it's literally just Excel, but you'll get the gist. Now, one of the things that I have been doing, for better or worse, again, going off of what some of these gurus have talked about, is I have been putting in, number one, a link to the actual channel to make it easier for people to find, to be able to subscribe. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to the end of the description, and I think that's over here, and then we're going to go ahead and put a couple spaces. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here to my Word document, because the other day I went ahead and figured out where my chapters actually are. So we're going to put that in here. And then after that, we put in the other stuff that I normally put into my description, which is all this wonderful stuff from all the other support. And then I go down here to where I have my railroad, and I copy that. And then we're going to go back over here, and we're going to paste that. Now basically all this is just all the stuff that supports the channel, and of course all the folks that are a part of or have been a part of Sidetrack Sunday up to this point. Also, by putting in these hashtags down the bottom, if you notice, if I go ahead and hover over this, it says that there's 9.4 or 8.9 thousand videos out there on 946 channels for model railroading. There's also 18,000 videos out there related on 944 channels related to HO scale model trains. And of course, then there's only me. But that's okay. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to upload our thumbnail that we took earlier, that we took the snapshot of. So I'm going to go down here to snapshot, because I was working on some other stuff, and that's not where I want to be. Sometimes, yeah, I went one level too far. Screenshots, there we go. And there's all my screenshots up to this point. And there we go. So now there's my new thumbnail. I'm going to put this into my episodes 2026, and I'm also going to put this under my new beginnings, because this is a part of the railroad. I'm also going to put this underneath my how did he do that, because to me that's probably where it ought to be as well. So I always have mine set up, no, it's not for kids. You can do what you want. I am not altering any content, so I'm going to click no. Now, I keep the automatic chapters clicked, even though I'm setting them up myself. Now, if I go down here to the tags, now you're going to hear different people say different things about the tags. You can, you can't, you don't, you do. I've been putting them in there, and they're basically somewhat very generic, and they're really, I guess, to a point maybe geared towards the channel as it is, but that's fine. I am going to go down here and select a video language, because we're in the United States, in English. And then I am going to go down here, and obviously we're already set for how to and style. That's all well and good. Now what I can do is we can go on to the next step. For me, that is going over and actually getting, first thing we're going to do is we're going to save, so that way everything lines up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open link in a new tab. Now, I'm going to pause the video because one of the things that's been brought up that YouTube is apparently keying in on now is whether you have a pinned comment and if that comment is being used. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to basically just put in a generic, I'll put in a generic comment basically saying, hey, welcome to 2026 and, you know, hope you enjoy this video, so on and so forth. So that's what we're going to do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back over here to my channel dashboard for a second, and I'm going to open up yet another tab, but this one here is going to be to go down here to the playlist, because what I want to do is I want people to see the progress. Let's see, what did I call that? Please check out the new, yeah, I should have just opened this like this, and that way I can grab that. And then I can go back over here and get my shareable link again, because I went ahead and dropped it. Paste that in there and be done. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the comment there, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit pin. So that will pin that to the top. And that's the only thing I need to do on the video itself there. But I have other things I have to still do back here, and that is I need to put in my end screens. And what are end screens? These here are links normally to other playlists or other things of interest for the railroad itself. You know, the one thing here I believe is a like and subscribe. The other one is the playlist for the episodes for last year, which once I get a couple more videos into this year's, I'll change that to this year's playlist. And of course, the New Beginnings playlist, which has been running since 2019. Now, one of the things that I have been finding recently with this program that I've been using, the VideoPad program, for whatever reason, it's adding extra dead space at the end of the video. And I go in here and I go to put the end screen on here and there's nothing there. It's supposed to be up at the same time as my, you know, thanking my subscribers, my patrons, and so on and so forth, before the actual, you know, this is a Gypsy Lane RLB3 production, or RLB3 Studios production. And that's the reason why these are very short. But at any rate, so I'm going to go ahead and save this because this one looks good. It looks like the video actually ends where it's supposed to. So we're just going to click save, and that's it. Now, what's going to happen is over the next 24 to 48 hours, because obviously if you follow the channel for any length of time, you know that these videos don't go active until 8 a.m. on Friday. So what'll happen is tomorrow night, Thursday night, and I'll actually show you, somewhere around, say, 11 o'clock-ish, I'll actually change this from unlisted over to scheduled, and it'll be for Friday morning. But I'll show you that once we get to that point. Okay, Trek Gang, so here we go. This is this is really easy here. We're gonna take and go from unlisted to scheduled, and I want this to be for the 9th, and I want it to be for 8 a.m. because that's my normal time, and then we just hit save, and then that's it. And then tomorrow morning, what I'll do, or actually later this morning, what I'll do is I'll actually copy this link and put it into my Facebook page, and also on my Patreon, and also to my community page. So we're going to stop here for a minute, and we'll be right back. Okay, so basically, for what I've done here, is I just showed you some of the basics, some of the things that I'm doing now to try and boost the channel up a little bit, trying some of the different things that some of the other creators out there have tried or have done. The thing is, like I said, they are very generalized normally. They are not niche based, or if they are niche based, they're not really talking about our hobby. So I thought it was important to put this together. Now, I'm going to put a caveat in here, and that is, don't expect to see your subscriber count all of a sudden go through the roof by doing some of the things that I've done here. I'm not seeing that. What I am seeing, though, video over video, is I'm seeing more interaction from YouTube. So, like I guess impressions and click-through rates are much higher than what they were before I started doing this stuff. Now, granted, one of the things that did kind of hurt me is the fact that I started doing this stuff during the operating session, which were long videos. So that kind of hurt things a little bit. But I'm giving it a shot, see what happens. It can't hurt. I mean, at this point, I mean, I've been trying to grow for 11 years now, so, you know, it is what it is. And as I think I've mentioned it before, even in this video, it's not that I'm out there trying to make money. I'm not trying to turn this into my full-time job, no. But I just want to get to a point where, because of the fact that even now, YouTube likes to go ahead and throw ads up on even non-monetized channels, which means that's great. They're putting ads up. I'm not seeing any of it. And I think that's a little, pardon my French, but that's a little crappy. But it is what it is. So the only way to go ahead and fix that is to become monetized, which means getting the subs. I've got the views, I just need the subs. So, any rate, like, subscribe, comment, you all know the deal. Sidetrack Sunday this week would be on Bob over at the PK&W Model Works. And you all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch y'all next time. Be safe. God bless. We will see ya.